The Chicago Blackhawks aren't a good hockey team. Bad defense, bad offense, bad PR team, but they have one hope, one salvation that could be the light at the end of the tunnel. From somewhere in Vancouver, British Columbia, Connor Bedard. Man, when this guy is on, he's amazing. The problem is that the talent around him is somewhat subpar, and it has been for the past 2 years. So the question needs to be asked, for the sake of my failing YouTube channel. Are the Chicago Blackhawks wasting Connor Bedard? Now, Bedard isn't doing himself any favors. He tends to turn over the puck a lot, especially this year. He takes some rather dumb hooking penalties and seems to be what you would say a power play merchant. Even then, he's 19. Before we look at some case studies, let's look at the facts here. He's among the team leaders in points, albeit with horrific plus-minus statistics, and his rookie year was near a point a game while being a legal teenager on a much worse team with less talent. This man has proven to be an elite talent, but my god, has it been a struggle this year. The Hawks attempted to give him some talent around him. Keyword here is attempted, but we've seen him play incredible when he has the necessary players around him. I mean, we all watched the World Junior in 2023. We decided to go God mode against Czechia of all teams, and it took a golden goal to beat them. How the mighty have fallen. So are the Hawks potentially ruining Connor Bedard? Connor Bedard's inaugural season, the 2023-2024 season, showcased his exceptional talent. Even as the team struggled overall, Bedard led a team with 22 goals, assists with 39, and total points with 61 in just 68 games. However, the biggest draw with not only last year but this year was his plus-minus rating of -44, which isn't good, but I mean, you have them and them as talented players around him. In summary, Connor Bedard's offensive numbers aren't the issue, but when you look at the talent around other generational talents, is Bedard really to blame, or is he a victim of a lousy management team?
Oh, slap me silly, Sidney!
Sidney Crosby, my golden child. Canada's grace. Now that Wayne Gretzky is kind of a disgrace. Entered the AHL in 2005 when the Penguins were at rock bottom. They had missed the playoffs for 4 straight seasons. They were one of the worst teams in the league. And on top of that, there are relocation rumors swirling about this team night in and night out. This team was in disarray like we've never seen a team like, sorry Arizona. But once Sidney Crosby arrived, the team made aggressive moves to surround them with talent. Now let's start with the players who were there before Crosby, which was Evgeny Malkin, who was drafted in 2004, would be future Hall of Famer, and Marc-Andre Fleury, who was drafted in 2003, where he developed as a top goalie, albeit a little overrated, and Chris Letang, who was actually drafted 2 rounds after Crosby, 61 picks later. Fresh on the Val d'Or, I'm not French, I'm sorry. But after Crosby's first few years, they drafted Jordan Staal, they acquired Sergei Gonchar, and then once they were able to win and start winning, they traded for Marian Hossa to complete a core of players who, in just his 3rd year, would make the Cup Finals, and his 4th year, he'd win it all. The Penguins did not wait. They aggressively drafted, signed, and traded for key players to help Crosby win, and by his 3rd season, he was in the finals. By year 4, he had a cup. Now, some of that is due to luck. I mean, having back-to-back top 5 in their prime players with Malkin and Crosby in back-to-back drafts is kind of insane luck. And then drafting Jordan Staal, the perfect third liner, and then drafting a perfect goalie. It is a lot of luck. But they did make some really nice, smart signings, like the Hossa trade and the Gonchar trade and the Letang pick. Something that Blackhawks haven't really done yet. Our next case study is a guy that we know very well, the grade 8, bands and make her dance. Yeah, bands and make her dance. Alexander Ovechkin, drafted in 2004, the year before Crosby. And because of the NHL lockout, he didn't play until 2005, the same year as Crosby, and he won the Calder Trophy over him. The Capitals struggled a little bit more than those Penguins teams. However, once Washington was set up, they were a juggernaut of a team. The difference between what Ovechkin went through, what Crosby went through, is that Ovechkin's talents came after him. Backstrom drafted in 2006, Mike Green drafted the year before Ovechkin, Semin drafted the year after Ovechkin. Veterans like Victor Kozlov and Sergei Fedorov brought in after Ovechkin. The Capitals, and in a way Ovechkin, weren't blessed with having talent to go to per se. The management team had to carry the load and actually draft well. And as you can see by the team's success, it was a little grimy. They missed the playoffs the first 2 years of his career, but they made the playoffs in year 3 and were able to contend, getting a President's Trophy in 2010. We all know how that ended. Capitals didn't make the playoffs right away, but they had a clear plan. They drafted a strong supporting cast and made smart moves around Ovechkin, not with just the best talent, but the right fit as well.
You guessed it, it's me, Connor McDavid.
And our last case study is Sir Connor McDavid from the Edmonton Oilers. Now this guy is probably the biggest comparison with Bedard, just because of the fact the Oilers management team was horrific for pretty much 90% of his career. Even now it's looking pretty grim. But the McDavid situation was a little different. The Oilers had missed the playoffs for a ridiculous 10 straight years to the point where he was drafted. Constantly wasting high-end draft pick after the high-end draft pick. Nail Yakubov anybody. When they got McDavid, they didn't just draft McDavid. They overhauled every single part of their organization. They got a new CEO, Bob Nicholson. They got a new GM, oh god. But even then, they were able to have a functioning management team and they acquired decent players. McDavid stepped into a situation with Leon Draisaitl, who was developing to a star, and my god, where the Oilers tried to fuck up his development. Leon Draisaitl's development is like the case study on not how to develop a player. It is a damn miracle this player ended up developing into a superstar player, because my god, was that just a clusterfuck there. You got Milan Lucic, I mean, he did decent for 1 year. There was a total albatross rest. Adam Larson for Taylor Hall. Cam Talbot, yeah, maybe this isn't the best comparison. But McDavid made the playoffs by year 2, even winning a round. Albeit that was more the fact that the Sharks absolutely choked, more on the fact the Wolves were good, but still, we'll take our victories. Our takeaway here is McDavid is really good. Now those are 3 generational talents that we were comparing to on how to surround a player's magnitude. And all those players had one thing in common. They stepped into a situation, or going into a situation, where the management team overhauled their ideology. They weren't thinking long term. Once they got the talent, they bought and spent and drafted well. Once you get a talent of Bedard's caliber, you do not just continue the plan, you gotta compete with Bedard. When you compare how teams like the Penguins, Capitals, even the Oilers handled their generational talents, the pattern is clear. Good management teams understand urgency. Crosby had Malkin installed by year 2. Ovechkin got Backstrom and Mike Green. McDavid at least had Draisaitl, even if the Edmonton Oilers were just some horrific mess. Meanwhile, Bedard is leading a team with no real support, stuck playing hero hockey with no real consistent line mates, and buried by poor roster construction. Kyle Davidson and the rest of the front office need to ask this one question. Are they actively building around Connor Bedard, or are they just hoping he magically drags them into the dance like McDavid did in 2017? Because right now, it feels like a ladder. And if they don't change that fast, they risk turning one of the most gifted players of his generation into just another wasted opportunity.